Good morning, students. In the previous video, we have completed our chapter in the Kingdom of Fools till page number 22, and even we had completed first para of page number 23. Now today we are going to continue with the next paragraph on the page number 23. Now till now we had come to know that this king has come to know about the real culprit, about the real criminal who was, not criminal, the real person who was behind this act. And after investigating all these things, he has come to know that he was the merchant of, he was the owner of the house. Then the goldsmith named the merchant, and he was none other than the original owner of the house. Now this goldsmith had disclosed that who was the person behind this act, who was the person behind compelling him not to complete the work of the dancing girl, not to complete the order of the dancing girl, and it was none other than the merchant or the owner of the house whose wall has fallen on the innocent man according to the king. Okay, then now justice has come full circle, though thought the king back to the merchant when he was rudely summoned back to the court. He arrived crying, "It wasn't me, but my father who ordered the jewellery. He is dead, I am innocent." Now, after when this king has come to know that he was the merchant behind this complete situation, he had summoned. Summoned means he had ordered, he had called, he has sent some of the persons from his kingdom, some of his soldiers to call to summon the merchant. Now what is saying? When he was rudely summoned back to the court, he arrived crying, and when that merchant, the original merchant's son, okay, the owner of the house who he was, the merchant, his son was summoned because the merchant is dead now. Okay, so when he was rudely summoned back to the court, he arrived crying, "It wasn't me, but my father who ordered the jewellery. He is dead, I am innocent." Now when this he was summoned, he was called in the court, he was crying, he was feeling that, "No, my lord, I am not the real one whom you are thinking as a culprit, but it was my father. Now he is dead. So I am not the one responsible for this, but my father is responsible for constructing the wall in the way, or for asking the goldsmith to complete the order in time. So I am not the one who you are thinking about." But the king consulted his minister and ruled decisively, "It's true, your father is the true murderer. He is dead, but somebody must be punished in his place. You have inherited everything from that criminal father of yours, his riches as well as his sins. I knew at once, even when I first set eyes on you, that you were at the root of this horrible crime. You must die." Now, this king is saying that, see, really, this is just a fun, just a story, a humorous story. Now, what is saying this king? He is saying that, but the king consulted, now the king is consulting to solve this matter. He is having a consult with his ministers, and he is decided that he is going to rule decisively. Decisively means what? Decisively means deciding. He decided that yes, now I am going to rule this thing very properly. Decisively, "It's true, your father is the true murderer." He said, "Yes, I know that your father is a true murderer, but somebody should be punished." See how nonsense these fellows are. So, as you have inherited means what? Means taking something after someone's death. Okay, so he has got all his parental or all his ancestral's wealth. Okay, so what I say that you have inherited everything. You have to write down the meaning of inherited as well. Second word it is inherited. So what the king is saying that you have inherited everything from the criminal father of yours. Means you have taken everything from your father, his good things, his bad things, his riches, his sins. Okay, then I knew at once, even when I first set eyes on you, that you were the root of this horrible crime. You must die. And this king is saying, at the very first time when I saw you, that time only I thought that you are only the real culprit and you must die. Then stick we can say, to kill the person. So, and he ordered a new stake to be made ready for the execution, as the servant sharpened the stake and got it ready for the final impaling of the criminal. Now, impaling, next word it is impaling. You have to find out the synonyms for this. Okay. So, what is saying? And he ordered a new stake to be made ready for the execution, as the servants sharpened the stake and got it ready for the final impaling of the criminal. As this, it occurred to the minister that the rich merchant was somehow too thin to be properly executed on the stake. He appealed to the king's common. He appealed to the king's common sense. The king too worried about it. Now this is height of nonsenseness. This fellow, what he is doing now? He had ordered his persons. The king had ordered his court persons to make a new stake. New stake, as I said, a strong wood, a metal stick to kill the person. So, and he ordered that now this punishment will be executed, will be practically done. Now, as the servant sharpened the stake, when the servants of this king were sharpening the stake, what had happened? Now it was ready for the final impaling of the criminal. Now the stake was ready to hang the criminal. Okay, impaling means to hang the criminal. It occurred. Now the minister has come to know that this person, who the merchant's son, is very thin. He will not be able to fit in the stake. Means it will be hard for them to execute it properly. So what did he do? He went to the king and discussed this matter, that this person is very thin and he is not able to fit in the stake. Then he appealed to the king's common sense. The king too was worried now. See, is this the thing to be worried? But the king was worried. Now what is to be done if he is not properly fit to the stake? Then what shall we do? He said, when suddenly it struck him that all they needed to do was to find a man fat enough to fit the stake. The servants were immediately sent all over the town looking for a man who would fit the stake. And their eyes fell on the disciple who had fattened himself for months on bananas and rice and wheat and ghee. Now see, now this the person has appealed to the king that he is not properly fit to the stake. Now what we should do? And the king was worried. Now he again ordered his servants to go and find out a man who is going to be fat enough to fit the stake. Now, whom do you think will be the culprit? Whom do you think will be the person the servants are going to find out? Definitely the disciple who has grown fat himself by eating a lot of bananas, rice and all. He had grown fat. Now the servants went to him and their eyes fell on the disciple of this guru, who had fattened himself for months on bananas and rice, wheat and ghee. Now see, being greedy is again it is a wrong deed, right? Means we can suffer because of our greed. For a time being, we will feel happy. Means you all will be feeling happy for your greed, but some other day, the time definitely will come that you will be feeling very sad for your deeds. Now the same is going to happen with our disciple, because he had not listened to the wise words of his wise guru. Okay, what have I done wrong? I am innocent. I am a sannyasi. He cried. That may be true, but it's the royal decree that we should find a man fat enough to fit the stake. They said and carried him to the place of execution. He remembered his wise guru's words, "This is a city of fools. You don't know what they will do next." While he was waiting for death, he prayed to his guru in his heart, asking him to hear his cry wherever he was. The guru saw everything in a vision. He had magic powers. He could see far and he could see the future as he could see the present and the past. He arrived at once to save his disciple, who had got himself into such a through love of food. Not sharp, sorry, scrape. Through love of food. Now see, this person was summoned by the servants of the king to his kingdom, to his court. And now he was appealing, he was crying, he was convincing the servants that I have done nothing, I am innocent. Why you all are carrying me to the king's court? I am innocent, I am not a culprit. Why? I have not committed any sin. Why you all are carrying me there? But what he received in this, in returns of this, what was the answer of the servant? They were saying it's the royal decree. Decree means what again? Next word it is. Decree means orders. Royal orders means the king's order. Okay. So the servants said him that it is king's order and we have no one to avoid this. So definitely you have to come with us. Then now this person, now this disciple was crying. He was remembering the wise words of his wise guru that this is the kingdom of fool and definitely these fools are going to do something different with you. So let us go. But that time he had not listened to his words and now he is feeling sad for all these things. Now he is feeling guilty for the act whatever he had done before. But now it was of no use. Now when he was carried to the place of execution where exactly the punishment was given, at that time when he saw all the stake and all, that time he was worried, he was tensed and he was remembering his guru. And guru could hear his voice because he was a wise person. He was having all that powers with him. He was a sannyasi. He was a true worshipper of God. And that is the reason he could see what was in the future. He could predict what was in the future, what is right now going in the present and what had happened in the past. He is all aware of all these things and that is the reason he could hear the voice of his disciple as well. This disciple had remembered him in his heart that, dear Guru, you please come and help me out from this situation. Please take out me from all this incident, as I am not the one who had committed any crime here. But even then I am punished. So you please come and help me. So Guru listened all his voice and he comes there. As soon as he arrived, he scolded the disciple and told him something in a whisper. Then he went to the king and addressed him. O wisest of king, who is greater, the Guru or the disciple? Of course the Guru, no doubt about it. Why do you ask? Then put me to the stake first, put my disciple to death after me. Now this Guru was really very wise. He had planned something and he was trying to overcome the situation brilliantly. And what did he do then? He come there, he whispered something in the earshot of his disciple and then he asked the king that who is wise, Guru or the disciple? Definitely Guru is the wisest one. So king also answered the same thing that yes, Guru is the wise person. So he is asking, so I request you to put me on the stake first. Please execute me on the stake first. So now then put me to the stake first, put my disciple to death after me. And he is saying after me you put him for the death. Now this king was in a question that why this fellow is asking, why does he want to go for a stake? Why he is very eager to do this? When the disciple heard this, he understood and began to clamor, me first. You brought me here first, put me to death first, not him. Now this disciple began to clamor, C-L-A-M-O-U-R. Now this disciple began to clamor. What he was clamor? Clamor means to make noise. He was shouting, no, I want to go first on the stake. Don't put him on the stake first. Don't put the disciple, don't put this Guru on the stake first. Because I had come first. So it's your duty that you should put me on the stake first. Then what did he do? You brought me here first, put me to death first, not him. The Guru and the disciple now got into a fight about who should go first. Now this was all what we can call it was a drama. Okay. Now the reason behind this thing is different. Let us find out what exactly they want to do. The Guru and the disciple now got into a fight about who should go first. The king was puzzled by this behavior. He asked the Guru, why do you want to die? We choose him because we needed a fat man for the stake. You shouldn't ask me such questions. Put me to the death first, replied the Guru. Now this king was asking the Guru, why you are so eager? We had brought this person, we had brought this disciple here because he is fit for the stake. Okay, now, but why you are very eager to go? Now, he is saying that, let you please don't question me, just do what I say. So, you shouldn't ask me such question, put me to death first. He replied. Who? The Guru replied. Why? There's some mystery here. As a wise man, you must make me understand. Now, this king is asking this Guru that is there any mystery? Is there anything hidden in it? So you please explain me what the things are. I want Will you promise to put me to death if I tell you? Asked the Guru. The king gave him the solemn words. The Guru took him aside out of the servant's earshot and whispered to him, "Do you know why we want to die right now? The two of us? We have been all over the world, but we have never found a city like this or a king like you. That stake is the stake of the God of justice. It's new. It has never had a criminal on it. Whosoever dies on it first will be reborn as the king of this country, and whosoever does next will be the future minister of this country. We are sick of our ascetic life. If it would be nice to enjoy ourselves as king and minister for a while. Now keep your words, my lord, and put us to death, me first. Remember." Now this Guru is giving explanation to the king. That what is the reason behind why he is very excited to go on the stake first. He is telling him that this stake is new and it is a stake of God of justice. And the one who is going to die first on this stake will be the next king of this kingdom, and who will be the second person dying on the stake will be the next minister of this kingdom. So you have to keep your promise now. You have to execute what you had said before. And now remember, you will put me on the stake first. Now the king was puzzled. What is to be done? The king was now thrown into a deep thought. He didn't want to lose the kingdom to someone else in the next round of life. He needed time. So he ordered the execution postponed to the next day and talked in secret with his minister. It's not right for us to give over the kingdom to others in the next life. Let's go on the stake ourselves and will be reborn as king and minister again. Holy men do not tell lies, he said, and the minister agreed. Now, he trusted all the words. The king had trusted all the words of whatever the Guru had said. Even if we are at the place of king, we would also have trust him, because what is our mindset? Guru will never lie. But this Guru is lying the king because he wants to save the disciple from the stake. And now the king is discussing with his minister why we should hand over all our ready-made kingdom to someone else. Why don't we plan to go on the stake? So they were discussing among themselves, and they had come to a conclusion. That night, so he told the executioner, "We will send the criminals tonight. When the first man comes to you, put him to death first, then do the same to the second man. Those are my orders. Don't make any mistake." That night, the king and his minister went secretly to the prison, released the Guru and the disciple, disguised themselves as the two, and as arranged beforehand with loyal servants, were taken to the stake and promptly executed. Now these two idiots decided that now we too will be going as a prisoners there, and we will ask the executioners to execute the punishment. Whosoever will come first will be hanged first, and whosoever will be coming second will be hanged second. And what did they do? They both come there, and the loyal servants had executed as per the orders of the king, and the king and the minister both were hanged. Now page number 26. When the bodies were taken down to be thrown to crows and vultures, the people panicked. And when the bodies were thrown out of the kingdom to the birds and the vultures means rotten meat eating animals. Okay. So when the bodies were thrown to crows and the vultures, the people were panicked. Why they were tensed? Because it was surprising to see the dead bodies of the king and the minister. They saw before them the dead bodies of the king and the minister. The city was in confusion. The city was completely confused. All night they mourned and discussed the future of the kingdom. Some people suddenly thought of the Guru and the disciple and caught up with them as they were preparing to leave town unnoticed. "We people need a king and a minister," said someone. Others agreed. They begged the Guru and the disciple to be the king and the minister. It didn't take many arguments to persuade the disciple, but it took longer to persuade the Guru. They finally agreed to rule the kingdom of the foolish king and the silly minister, and the condition that they could change all the old laws. the king can be the guru and the minister can be the disciple. Now they started pursuing. Pursuing means what? Convincing. They started convincing both of this. The guru was not convinced early, but this disciple was very easily convinced that yes, I will be the minister of the kingdom, as he was greedy and all. But the king took time to be convinced, and after thinking a lot, he said, okay, yes, but I will be changing the laws in the kingdom, and this is my condition. And all were agreed. From then on, night would again be night and day would again be day, and you would get nothing for it to do. It becomes like any other place. And yes, this place was completely changed now. Whatever the routine was followed before this foolish king, whatever the rules had made by the king were all perished, and now they had formed some new rules, and now in this kingdom the day was the day and night was night, and now no one was getting anything there for a single to do. So this is all about this chapter. Hope you all have understood. Thank you, and you have to complete all the whatever the words are written on the board, as well as you have to you have to read the complete chapter, underline all the new words and write down the synonyms for the words. 2 synonyms for each words. Thank you. Have a nice day.